Information fueled.
Opinion driven.
This is Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
And so, my fellow Americans,
we talk news.
6:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. How are you? March 10th, it is Monday. Hope you are doing well. Man, there is a lot to talk about. I don't know about you. I had trouble sleeping last night. I'm really, really worried about this possible upcoming government shutdown.
You are not.
I'm really not. I actually, I'm one of those people, Joan. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people. Shut it down.
Yeah.
Just shut it down. That's me these days. So we're going to get into that because Trump and the Republicans, I think that the majority of Republicans, they could give two craps as to whether or not the government shuts down. However, they don't want to be blamed for it. So we're going to talk about that coming up because Donald Trump said something interesting during that interview with Maria Bartiromo. I've got some great audio from the president. I want to finish this thought, though, on Al Green. Now, you remember Al Green? He's the congressman out of Texas, and he was yelling at the president about how he has no mandate to cut Medicare or Medicaid and all that. And President Trump and all the Republicans, they have not said they are cutting Medicare. You remember when Trump was talking to the joint session of Congress, it was all about Trump and Medicare. The Democrats were freaking out and making all of these accusations. The reality is that Donald Trump and the Republicans have said that Medicare will be fully funded. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make Medicare and Medicaid better. That's what they're trying to do. And so, of course, the Democrats are doing what they're doing. They are hurling all of these accusations, and there's no evidence that the president or the Republicans want to cut these various programs. So Al Green, of course, you know that he got kicked out. I played you all of the audio last week. He said that the president has no mandate, etc. So Al Green goes, and this is so predictable. I'm just going to be honest with you, friends. I'm almost embarrassed to even play you this audio because it is so ridiculous. But I will.
Hold on, was that another really cool thing that you're saying now? Ridic?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that like ridiculous?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
You like that?
I wanted to make sure that everybody understood.
Want to make sure people are keeping up with my
when you throw down
with my danacular.
Yeah.
My vernacular, whatever. Moving on. Ridiculous. So Al Green on the Breakfast Club, and this is what he had to say, calling the Republicans racist for kicking him out based on his bad behavior, not the color of his skin. But this is part of what he had to say to the Breakfast Club in what I'm sure was a riveting interview.
The balcony of the movie, drink from a colored water fountain, and my relatives who committed some crimes were locked up in the bottom of the jail. I know what invidious discrimination looks like. The Klan burned a cross in my yard. I know what it smells like. I was in filthy waiting rooms, and I've been in places where I didn't want to be, and I know what it sounds like. I've been called all kinds of ugly names. So I know invidious discrimination. And when the speaker decided that I would be removed, and then there was this motion, this resolution to censure me, it became obvious to me that I was not being treated as others were. Mm-hmm. And candidly speaking, it is invidious discrimination, harmful discrimination.
So obviously he found a new word, invidious, which basically means unjust or unfair. But speaking the obvious again, he was kicked out. He was censured because he would not sit down. He would not shut up. And so the reason, I would say to Al Green, the reason, dude, that you're not being treated the same as everyone else is because no one else was doing what you were doing, threatening the president and Republicans with your cane. The president was simply trying to give his speech, and unlike Marjorie Taylor Greene, Al Green wouldn't stop. Marjorie Taylor Greene did. She said her piece. She sat back down. Unlike Congressman Al Green, he wouldn't stop. So yeah, there is a difference. He was warned over and over again. But what do the Democrats do when they have no way to defend their behavior, when they don't have the argument on their side, when they don't have the facts on their side? Yes, They like to scream racism. So obviously there is a difference. Sane people know that there is a difference. But listen, these Democrats, they're not sane. You know that. I know that. Donald Trump knows that.
People don't want to hear about these stupid ideas that they have. Transgender for everybody. And again, the men and women's sports, what is that, a 90 to 10 deal? I don't even know who the 10 would be. But they're fighting for it. And I try and say to myself, because you always like to understand where your opponent is, whether it's in business or anything else, is there something I don't understand? But we don't understand it. And I tell Republicans, take that night, because that was a great night, and run your midterms on it.
Yep.
And show us I'm talking about some young child with cancer.
Yep.
Or some young, beautiful girl like Laken Riley, who was killed, and they don't get up. And they don't salute the mother who's there devastated.
Well, again, not to belabor the point, but everybody knows the Democrats, they've obviously simply become the party of no when it comes to anything Donald Trump and the Republicans need to do, want to do. And yes, the case in point, the government is about to possibly shut down. Here we are once again talking about this. And so the Republicans and Donald Trump, they want to pass this continuing resolution, a stopgap spending measure to keep the government going while they work out a budget for next year. Now, there is a clean resolution that is on the table. And basically what they want to do, what the Republicans want to do is we're going to spend almost exactly what we spent last year. Nothing more, nothing less. There's a couple of little anomalies, but the bottom line is we just want to continue on with what Joe Biden was doing. Stephen Miller had something to say about this.
It means it just freezes current funding. So it adds no new spending. It creates no new programs. It doesn't have any new slush funds. It just says we're going to continue current spending while we work on a budget plan for next year. And that's when you can implement all of the new reforms. In Washington, it has never happened before. Never. That a government was shut down over a clean government funding bill. It's never happened before. Anytime a clean government funding bill has been on the table, government has been funded. So if Democrats are going to try to shut the government down over a clean funding bill, it will just demonstrate that they've become as hopelessly Marxist and crazy as we all know they've become by watching their behavior.
So again, that's Stephen Miller with Trump's team. But here's the problem. We have Thomas Massie, the Republican congressman out of Kentucky, who says no, he's not going to vote for this because it doesn't have any DOGE cuts. But again, this is a continuing resolution. They basically don't want to increase funding. They don't want to decrease funding until they can get this budget worked out. But there might be some Democrats in Trump-won counties who will vote for this. But there are some anomalies, and I'm going to tell you those anomalies coming up. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. So you may hear about some of these anomalies that are in this continuing resolution. More money for ICE. That's a good thing because we want to get the bad guys and the illegal aliens out. That was a mandate for the president. Less money for the IRS. I don't know about you, but I don't have a problem with that. And an increase for veterans' health care. The Associated Press puts it like this. House Democrat leadership accusing Republicans of putting up a partisan continuing resolution that rips away life-sustaining health care and retirement benefits from everyday Americans. Again, this is a clean bill, no major cuts, and no big increases in spending. It is a clean bill. They're continuing with what basically they had under Biden until they can implement the reforms that Donald Trump wants to put in place with the next budget. House GOP leadership, because, the Republicans have said that they're not going to do anything to impact Medicaid. They're not going to impact any Medicare in this continuing resolution. But you've got the hair on fire Democrats saying, oh, no, Medicaid is our red line. Okay, well, that's fine. And basically what's happening is the Democrats are lying about what the Republicans want to do. And they're saying, oh, the Republicans are going to go after Medicaid when they're not. The other thing is you're going to hear is that Republicans are trying to cut the benefits of veterans. That is going to be a big accusation. You're going to hear that today. You're going to hear that tomorrow. You're going to hear that moving forward. Now, here's what that is. The Republicans have said that they're going to overhaul the VA and that they're going to possibly eliminate some positions. The Trump White House swears benefits will not be impacted. It's a lot of administrative stuff. So does the GOP, are they planning on cutting a bunch of jobs within the VA? Well, this is GOP Congressman Greg Murphy. He was on Fox News, and this is what he says.
You know, during the Biden administration, I sit on Veterans Affairs, and 1 out of 10 of my constituents are veterans. But if meeting with Secretary Collins, during the Biden administration, by their own admission, overhired. They hired, I think it was close to 80,000 people. They increased spending $180 billion when essentially the number of veterans and veteran services was flat. More came in from the PACT Act, but a lot of veterans got disenfranchised, waiting months and months and months for appointments and just left the VA. Look, it's called efficiency and accountability is here. Doug is the right man to help bring that back to the VA.
All right, so they want to go back to the 2019 staffing levels. And Biden, basically the administration, they went on this hiring spree. And so now the Trump administration wants to eliminate 72,000 positions by going back to 2019 levels because Biden came in and they hired all of these people. Now, there was something that happened. I want to make sure that I give you the complete story. When Trump left office, there were 400,000 employees within the VA. Biden hired another 80,000 employees, but the amount of veterans remained the same. So why did they hire all of those people? One big thing was the PACT Act, which opened up claims for veterans that were exposed to toxins. Now, just so we're clear, I absolutely agree with these veterans being able to get some help for the medical care that they need because they have been exposed to toxins. It is an awful thing. This is like the one thing that I actually agree with Joe Biden on because his son died after being exposed to these toxins in the Iraq War. But the backlog, this is the point. The backlog of claims grew. This is the backlog. From 40,000 to 175,000. So they increased the employees by 72 to 75,000 people. Yet the backlog went from 40,000 to 175. So they increased employees big time, but they became less efficient. I mean, only in America and only our government could be so, I don't know if corruption would be the right word, but whatever it is, they're wasting money. And that's the whole point. The whole point is that you can release a bunch of employees, you can get rid of a bunch of employees, and if you fix the systems, then you can increase your efficiency. That's the whole point of DOGE. It is 6:20 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 89.7 WTN. Coming up, Bill Maher crushes the Democrats. That great audio straight ahead on Super